Thanks, Kerry. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming along to listen to the Minerals 260 story. Today's presentation provides an update on our Mora and Coogen projects in southwest Western Australia, and in particular the targets that we're planning to drill over the next 3 to 4 months. The standard disclaimer, I won't dwell on it, but this presentation is on our website, so if you get excited enough by this presentation to buy some shares, then I suggest you go there and read this very carefully. Okay, Minerals 260, we're just over a year old. We listed in October last year. The company was created to advance the non-lithium assets of Liontown Resources. And so the board, needless to say, is made up largely of either current or former Liontown directors. I was the managing director of Liontown until the middle of last year. Our chairman, Anthony Cipriano, who's here today, is still a board member of Liontown. And of course, we're very well known, Tim Goyder is on the board as well, and he continues to be a very supportive director and shareholder. More recently, we've been joined by Emma Scottney. She brings additional business skills to the board. She's also a farmer in the general Mora area, so she provides valuable insight when we're dealing with the landowners, which is a critical part of exploring in that part of the world. Our key assets, or our main assets, are the Mora and Coogen projects, a large land position. Before we started work there, unexplored, so it's only had 2 years' worth of exploration done on it. We've hit significant mineralisation at a number of prospects, so we're confirming the potential of the area. And we've just started a major drilling program. So we had one rig start on November the 19th. The second rig started at the beginning of this week. So we'll have 2 rigs drilling there and probably until the end of March. So the next 3 to 4 months for Minerals 260 will be pretty critical. Importantly, we have a nice strong bank balance, $22 million at the end of September. So we've got all the money we need to get the job done. It's been a busy time. Not sure what's happened to that slide. It's been a busy time since we listed. Drilled multiple drilling programs, have made significant copper-gold discoveries at 3 prospects. More recently, we've announced some very significant PGE results. We have 22 other drill targets beyond these, so we have a total of 26 drill targets that we'll be testing over the next 3 or 4 months, with an RC and diamond program up to 15,000 metres. Although there's nothing magical about that 15,000 metres. If we get onto something, then we'll just keep drilling. Beyond Mora and Coogen, we do have the Dingo Rocks project. It's in southeast Western Australia. We've defined a number of targets down there using geophysics, and we're in the process of getting out there and looking to follow those up with a drill rig next year. And we're also looking at new opportunities as they come along. Our $22 million bank balance means that not only can we maintain and accelerate exploration on our existing projects, it gives us a very strong position when it comes to reviewing new opportunities. Okay, moving on to the projects. So we're located about 150 kilometres northeast of Perth, so it's pretty civilised. It's an hour and a half's drive from our office. A large position, importantly a contiguous land position, so we're not dealing with piecemeal tenements all over the place. This is one land package of about 1,000 square k's. We were an early mover in the area, so we actually picked up our land position before Chalice discovered Bulbana, and trust me, there was a lot of vacant ground at that time, so we wish we picked up more. But we saw the potential back in 2018, and this is when we acquired our initial land position. Our early drill results have highlighted the potential for a significant discovery, and I'll show you some of those later on. And beyond those, we've defined a whole bunch of other targets which have never had a drill hole in them, and we'll be testing those in this current field season. On our land position, we've defined, at the current stage, I think we'll define more, but we've got 2 prospective corridors on our Mora and Coogen ground. In the east, we have the Mount Yule corridor. This is the area that we focused on initially. It includes all our advanced prospects at Mint, Pina and Zest, and the recent discovery at Adcar of PGE mineralisation. It also includes a feature called the Mora gravity anomaly, which we think is pretty important locally, and I'll expand on that a bit later on. In the west, we have what we think is a northern extension of the Bulbana trend. It's earlier days there, but we've defined a lot of targets, probably 15 to 20 targets on that trend, which we will be drilling as part of the ongoing drill program. Zooming in even further, within the Mount Yule corridor, there's this feature called the Mount Yule magnetic anomaly, and this is really where we concentrated our early exploration, which means it's more advanced than anywhere else in the project area. Drilling across this feature, it's a large magnetic high. It's 7 kilometres east-west, 2.5 kilometres north-south. It's a large mafic, ultramafic intrusion. We know that from the drilling we've done. And drilling across different parts of this feature is intersected significant copper-gold mineralisation at 3 prospects. So you can see there at Mint and Zest we have wide zones of reasonable grade copper and gold mineralisation. And at Angipina, which was our first discovery, we've got up to 43 metres of 1.8 grams per tonne gold. All of these trends are open at depth and along strike, and they'll all be getting followed up in the next few months. Mint will be on the ground next week drilling with 2 rigs. So zooming in either further, Mint, it's probably our highest priority at this stage. Shallow air core drilling back in late 2020 intersected 9 metres of 2% copper at the bottom of a hole. We did drill underneath this pretty quickly. Unfortunately, we went into a barren dolerite dike, which is a bit of a curse in this area. But we made sure we did some downhole geophysics. This defined an off-hole conductor, which we came back and drilled earlier this year, just before the crops got planted. And that intersected, you can see there, 24 metres of 0.7 grams per tonne gold and 1.9% copper. So a nice wide zone of copper-gold mineralisation. This mineralisation is, I'm not sure whether this is working. Yep, it is. This mineralisation is coincident with a 1.5 kilometre copper and soil anomaly. It's also coincident with an IP anomaly, and it's coincident with a magnetic anomaly. So we've got 3 different parameters here coincident with this mineralisation, and all these things combined indicate to us that there's potential for quite a large system at Mint. We have up to 30 RC and diamond holes planned for this prospect, testing that 1.5 kilometres of strike over the next few months. What I've shown there, the blue dots are the initial 10 holes. We'll drill these just to work out whether to put the next 20 holes. So we're looking forward to getting stuck into this, and like I said, we should have 2 rigs on this prospect. Next week we're just waiting for the lupin crop to come off. Okay, Angipina, this was our initial discovery. In fact, the very first RC hole number 1 here, intersected 43 metres of 1.8, so it wasn't a bad start. It's 900 metres long, plus it's open. There are multiple mineralised lodes. The main mineralisation appears to be coincident with this rather contorted mafic, ultramafic contact, which has been mapped by the magnetic data. We're really only starting to get to grips with this, and we didn't really realise this. So some of our drilling, which we thought was testing this contact, is actually drilled parallel to it, so we've missed it. So we've got some structural review ongoing here at the moment. It's just about finished. Once that's completed, we'll come in and we'll probably end up, drilling this position here and this position here. So it's early days at Angipina, but there's a lot of gold there, and it's also got a bit of copper and cobalt associated with it. Okay, the recent PGE discovery at Adcar, down the southern end of this Mora gravity anomaly. So down here we had an opportunity to drill a line of holes on a road. This is drilled during the cropping season, but we could get access there. We wanted to get a bit of geology at this end of the gravity anomaly, which this is 10 k's from one of these prospects. And the bottom of the westernmost hole intersected 3 metres of 0.52 grams per tonne gold. So as I like to say, I'm glad we didn't stop at 175 metres. So we're now back there. We've actually drilled a few follow-up holes here already, and those samples are in the lab, and we're waiting for those results to come back. I talked about that Mora gravity anomaly. We think it's a very important feature. This is a 3D model of it. It's a large body. It's 10 kilometres long. It's 3.5 kilometres wide. All the mineralisation that we've got to date, intersected to date, actually is located around the margins of this thing. So we think the contact of this gravity feature with the country rocks is a critical control of mineralisation. And we have 4 other geochemical anomalies that we're planning to drill as part of the current program, and we'll probably do more drilling along this contact zone. We think the contact zone all up is about 25 kilometres long, so it's a large target. Coogen, our joint venture immediately to the west of Mora, we have the right to earn up to 51% here. We're very close to earning our initial equity of 30%. We only have to spend another $100,000, so we're very close to that. The first couple of field seasons at Coogen has been about defining drill targets. We've done that work now. We've defined a heap of anomalies, and we're currently following those up. 2 of those targets, I'll just touch on briefly, Mallory and Bulbana, and these are just examples of the sort of thing that we'll be drilling on the Coogen JV. So at Bulbana, we have a 600 metre long, very robust gold anomaly, nicely coincident with an IP feature. And then at Mallory, similarly, but this is actually bigger. This is a 2 kilometre long. It's a multi-element anomaly, so copper, PGEs and gold, and in fact it's one of the best PGE anomalies on our project area. and again coincident with an IP feature. Neither feature has ever been drilled at depth, so these are just examples of the sort of targets that we'll be following up at Coogen, so really quite robust, high priority targets. So the next steps at Mora and Coogen, well, we obviously got to follow up the existing prospects where we already have mineralisation, so we'll be looking to do that as a priority. And then we have 22 other targets. So as I said before, we've got 2 rigs there at the moment, 2 RC rigs. We'll get a diamond rig there early next year, up to 15,000 metres of drilling. Beyond that, we still need to do more target definition work. Still early days here at Mora and Coogen, so we'll do structural geology and more IP and more geochemistry, etc. And we're confident that we'll define more drilling targets. Quickly on Dingo Rocks, it's our second project. It's in southeast Western Australia. It's about 300 kilometres south-south-east of Kalgoorlie and 100 k's north-north-east of Esperance. We picked it up to explore these magnetic highs that basically are undercover and have never been tested. Since we've acquired this ground, our neighbours immediately to the west, Mika Gold, have actually reported some fairly significant gold results, up to 23 at 5 grams, and also extensive clay-hosted rare earth mineralisation. So while they're not our primary targets, our primary target is nickel-copper PGE associated with the magnetic highs. These results have certainly enhanced the prospectivity of the Dingo Rocks ground. What we have done there is we've done a gravity survey like we did with Mora. So gravity is becoming a very popular technique and it's a very effective technique. The gravity survey has defined multiple anomalies which we interpret to be possible. Lots of qualifications there, but we think these could be prospective nickel-copper PGE prospective mafic ultramafic intrusions. So we've completed a heritage survey. We've just completed our first flora and fauna survey. So we're looking at now starting the permitting process so we can get on this ground in the second quarter of next year to do the initial drilling. We'll continue to monitor. There's a lot of clay-hosted rare earth results coming out from our neighbours. We'll monitor these results, but our primary target here at Dingo Rocks is the nickel-copper PGEs associated with these mafic ultramafic rocks. Okay, so just to sum up, I think demonstrated our technical capabilities at Minerals 260. We were early movers in the Mora Coogen, in the Julimar area. Like I said, we were there before Julimar was discovered. Our initial drilling has come up with significant PGE copper and gold results, so we've backed up the concept with actual tangible results. Drilling is in progress. There's going to be a lot of drilling in progress, so there will be a news flow over the next 3 to 4 months. We have a good target pipeline. We're operating in freehold country here. We're in the wheat belt of Western Australia, so you need to have access agreements in place. We have those access agreements in place and good relationships with our farmers. Still a relatively immature exploration terrain. When you think about the eastern goldfields of Western Australia, it's had 50 to 60 years of exploration. There's 2 to 3 years of exploration here, so you can just show, gives you an indication of the upside. Strong board and management, the guys that found and is now developing the Kathleen Valley Lithium Project. Strong bank balance, and we can't underestimate the advantage of being in a mining jurisdiction such as Western Australia. Thank you very much.